Have you ever wondered what goes on behind the high walls and barbed wire fences of prisons? Within these walls, the world operates under a different set of rules, a world obscured from the public eye, filled with stories that are often left untold. Today, we're going to take a closer look at the realities of the prison system, specifically focusing on the challenges faced within the Michigan prison system. From overcrowding to staff shortages, the prison system is plagued with a myriad of problems. Imagine a place where human beings are packed together so tightly that personal space is virtually non-existent. Overcrowding is not merely a discomfort, it's a powder keg waiting to explode, leading to heightened tensions and often, violence. But the problems don't stop there. Prisons are also grappling with a severe lack of staff, a crisis that is exacerbating existing issues. With fewer guards on duty, maintaining order becomes an uphill task, often leading to chaos and even riots. Everyone suffers in such a scenario, from the inmates to the staff working tirelessly to regain control. And then there's the drug abuse issue, a harsh reality that pervades not only our society but also the enclosed world of prisons. The illicit trade of substances, coupled with the desperation of inmates, leads to a vicious cycle of addiction and violence. The challenges are many, and they don't end with the ones we've just discussed. Escape attempts, for instance, pose a constant threat, a grim reminder of the desperate lengths people will go to regain their freedom. These issues are not isolated but interconnected, each one feeding into and exacerbating the other. They are a part of a complex web of problems that make the prison system a challenging environment to navigate and reform. But why should we care, you might ask? Because these are not just prisons, they are microcosms of our society, reflecting our values, our failures, and our potential for change. Today we delve into the grim reality of the Michigan prison system. A Facebook Live video, a prison cell, and an inmate haircut, an unlikely trio that sparked an investigation. Welcome to the peculiar world of the Carson City cell haircut incident. A seemingly innocuous act, an inmate receiving a haircut broadcasted live on Facebook for the world to see. Yet this simple act of grooming in the confines of a prison cell was enough to raise eyebrows and trigger an investigation. At the center of it all was Mary Burgess, the head of the prison force, now under the scrutinizing gaze of both Michigan State Police and the Department of Corrections. The incident, seemingly minor at first glance, underscored the glaring issues within the prison system, a lack of control, order, and standard protocol. Here we had a prison cell, meant to be a place of discipline and order, reduced to a makeshift barbershop, with a live audience no less. It was a clear indication of the disorder that had seeped into the very bones of the institution, where even the simplest rules were flouted with impunity. An incident that pulled back the curtain on the chaos within. The Carson City cell haircut incident was a wake-up call, a stark reminder of the challenges that lie within the prison system, waiting to be addressed. Michael Elliott, a 40-year-old man, made headlines when he escaped from the Ionia Correctional Facility. The tale of Elliott is not just about a man's desperate bid for freedom, but it's also a stark indictment of the security loopholes in our prison system. Elliott's escape was not an isolated incident but a symptom of a larger problem. The Ionia Correctional Facility, where Elliott was housed, is meant for prisoners classified as Level 2 or Level 5, with Level 5 being maximum security. Imagine the audacity of an escape from such a high-security setup. This event was a wake-up call, bringing into sharp focus the urgent need for a comprehensive security overhaul. But the challenges faced by the prison system are not confined to escape attempts. Violence and conflicts among inmates are a recurring nightmare in various facilities. Take, for instance, the Ernest Brooks Correctional Facility and the Mid-Michigan Correctional Facility. These institutions are constantly grappling with a lack of control, making them a hotbed for fights and hostility. As if the existing challenges weren't enough, the prisons had a new invisible enemy to battle: COVID-19. The pandemic's arrival brought a whole new set of issues to the already fraught Michigan prison system. An environment designed for containment suddenly became a petri dish for the virus, making it a formidable foe. Imagine a place where social distancing is nearly impossible, where shared spaces are the norm, and where health resources are often stretched thin. This was the reality for Michigan's prisons in the face of COVID-19. Hygiene, a basic human right, became a luxury that was hard to afford. Despite the best efforts of the prison staff, maintaining a high standard of cleanliness was a daunting task. Shared spaces like communal showers, cafeterias, and recreation areas became hotspots for transmission. Inmates already living in close quarters were now at a higher risk of contracting the virus. The struggle to contain the virus was a monumental task. Measures such as separating the sick from the healthy, frequent sanitization of cells and shared spaces, and limiting communal activities were taken. But the virus, being as virulent as it is, found its way around these barriers. The prison system was grappling with an enemy that was as elusive as it was deadly. The outbreaks were not just a threat to the inmates but also posed a risk to the prison staff. These brave individuals were on the front lines working in a high-risk environment to maintain order and safety. Their dedication and resilience in the face of such adversity is commendable. Yet despite all efforts, the virus continued to spread, causing fear and unrest amongst the prison population. The situation was a stark reminder of the vulnerability of these closed communities, and of the urgent need for effective measures to protect those within them. The COVID-19 outbreak in the Michigan prison system was a battle on two fronts. On one hand, they had to maintain order and safety within the prison walls. On the other, they had to fight a deadly virus that was spreading rapidly. It was indeed a battle with an unseen enemy within prison walls. In the midst of all this chaos, a critical factor exacerbating the problems is the shortage of staff. Picture this: the Central Michigan Correctional Facility, known for its imposing structure and the daunting task it undertakes, is now facing a crisis that threatens to disrupt its very functioning: the staff shortage. Now, you might wonder, how does a staff shortage lead to such dire consequences? Well, let's break it down. The prison staff, they are the backbone of any correctional facility. They maintain the order, ensure the enforcement of rules, and manage the day-to-day operations. But when the staff numbers dwindle, the equilibrium is disturbed. In the case of the Central Michigan Correctional Facility, this shortage has led to an upsurge in disorder. A prison is an ecosystem, and when the authority figures are not there in sufficient numbers, the balance of power can quickly shift. The inmates, sensing the lack of control, become more prone to conflicts, fights, even riots. The prison, instead of being a place of rehabilitation, becomes a hotbed of chaos and violence. What's more, the remaining staff are stretched thin, trying to manage an overwhelming number of inmates. This not only puts them at risk, but also leaves little room for them to focus on other important aspects of their job, such as providing support and guidance to the inmates. This crisis is not just about numbers, it's about the safety of the staff, the welfare of the inmates, and the overall functioning of our correctional system. It's a wake-up call for us to address the underlying issues, to ensure that our prisons are adequately staffed and to restore the balance that's been lost. The thin blue line stretched to its limits. As we've walked through the corridors of the Michigan prison system, we've encountered numerous challenges. In the echoing halls of correctional facilities like Ernest Brooks, Mid-Michigan and Central Michigan, we've seen the pressing issues of overcrowding and staff shortages. These have led to a lack of control, sparking violence and even escape attempts, as seen with the 40-year-old Michael Elliott from Ionia Correctional Facility. We've also brushed against the chilling specter of drug abuse, a problem that seems to thrive in the shadowy corners of these institutions. Not to mention the conflicts among inmates, a ticking time bomb that threatens the safety and order within the prison walls. Then, there's the elephant in the room: the COVID-19 outbreaks. They've further strained an already burdened system, pushing hygiene standards to their limits and beyond. The question remains, can these challenges be overcome? Only time will tell.